Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Credit Union Social Strategy Podcast. I am your host and your credit union copywriter, Jennifer Rowland Cadiente. And today I want to talk about user-generated content. So I was just talking with someone about this a couple weeks ago and how we used to do it at Maps Credit Union. We would do a lot of photo contests, and we also had this yearly thing that they still do at the Salem Art Fair and Festival, where they have a booth where people can come and put on fun props and take photos, and then they download them from the Maps Credit Union Facebook page. And so that kind of user-generated content is a lot of fun. Like I know I participated in photo things for the Oregon Ducks and for the Portland Trailblazers, when, you're supposed to send a photo of yourself wearing your gear and use the hashtag, and they'll put it on the screen during the game. It's way, way too much fun for me. So I've done all that kind of thing, both as a social media person and as a social media user. But the kind of user-generated content I want to talk about today is stuff created by your staff. So you can let this happen at a lot of different levels. But I especially want to see more credit unions get their frontline staff involved in their social media, because those are the people, that are talking to the members day in, day out. They know the questions people are asking, so they can help you figure out exactly what you need to be talking about on social media. We all have pretty good ideas of what people need to know about our credit union, about what we're doing, about our products and our services. But there's nothing better than hearing, from your frontline staff, like 5 or 6 people this week have asked about X, and maybe that's something we could put on our social media feeds. So you could start by looking at things like that. Ask, what are people asking about? Are you seeing anything new in the branches? Any new issues coming up? It feels like there's always something new coming up in this economy. So that's a great way to stay, up to date, not just on the general things that we know people need to know about their money, but the things that are happening right now. But one of the things that I've seen some credit unions doing, especially on TikTok, that is so much fun, is letting the frontline staff make videos. So I'm not just talking about dancing videos or those silly things where they point at things that show up on the screen, because those are a little bit dated and they're not super useful. But things where they're role playing what's it like to come into a credit union. So, they're being filmed as, like, hey, welcome in. Um, I need to know, who you are, where you work, things like that, so that we can get your account set up. So stuff like that could be super fun. I know it's something that I talked to Tansley Stearns a long time ago when I was writing an article about letting your staff have not the power, that's not the word I'm looking for, but just giving them the permission, and and letting them feel empowered to offer support on social media. When someone has a question, it doesn't have to be the social media person answering all the time, because sometimes the social media person is on vacation. Sometimes they're busy doing another project. If someone on the front lines is empowered to answer questions on social media, when they're between members, then that can help people get a fast answer and a good answer. So I will put a link to where you can download a copy of that article in the show notes and in the description here on the video, because I think it remains just as important now when we're talking about creating content. So you're letting people who work for you, you're letting them know that you trust them to share the message, just like you trust them every day when people come in. It's really not that different just because they're accessing it on their phone or, on their computer, depending on, what they're doing at the time, their tablet, than it is just helping members when they come in to the branch or talk to your teller machine. So think about ways that you can get the frontline staff to help you with user-generated content. It's going to be way more fun than the things that you could create. It's going to be way more up to the minute, more timely, and it's going to be answering the real questions that people have right now. And I'm not saying that you have to let them do a complete, I'm going to take over, X branch takes over the TikTok feed for a week, but you can work with them, to plan out some things that they could do. If you want to be there while they're recording videos, and that's something that works in your schedule, do that. If you want to have them send you the raw video and you can edit it and get it uploaded, if that makes you feel more comfortable. The only thing is that you want to try not to be a bottleneck because things are not timely if it takes you 3 weeks to get a short video edited and posted. So think about ways that you can not remove yourself from the process, but make sure that you're not hindering progress on your social media feeds. And if any of you have done this and have, had successes, had things that didn't go as well as you planned, but you learned a great lesson, I'd love to hear about that in the comments, or if you shoot me an email. If you see this posted on LinkedIn, you could always comment there. You can go back and connect with me. And I'll have links for where you can connect with me on LinkedIn in the show notes and in the description of this video. So thank you for joining me again this week, and I will talk to you next time. If you found this content useful and you want to make sure that you get more, you can sign up for my email list at creditunioncopywriter.com, or you can subscribe here on YouTube or in your favorite podcast app. And I look forward to learning more about what you need from me. Thank you. Bye-bye.